Welcome to this week's episode.
Okay, I'm here.
I'm glad you're here.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, at least somebody's listening, so that will be fun. So today we are talking about a very important but potentially not very exciting subject. This is not anybody's favorite thing to do, but it is certainly one of the most important things in sales, right?
Okay.
Prospecting.
That.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're actually going to do a two-part series. This one is kind of the what and why, and then next week we're going to talk about how.
Okay.
Okay? So we kind of divided it up because it is a little too daunting for a 20-minute podcast or 30-minute podcast or however long we go today. But it is a topic that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. But there are some ways to make it a whole lot easier and certainly a whole lot more predictable and profitable, right?
Tell me it isn't so. You don't struggle with anything.
Oh man, I wish. Anyway, that's why I'm so good at teaching and coaching, is because I struggle along with everybody else. So I know what it means to be in the trenches. So this episode is brought to you, speaking of the trenches, by our Aviation Sales and Marketing Lab. And this is where we struggle together. And we also succeed together. And all of those things, because these are the smartest people in the aviation industry. And the great thing about having really smart people behind you is, number one, you don't dare to fail because you don't want to look silly in front of them. Number two, they have fantastic ideas and are able to solve just about any problem you come up with because they've been there and done that.
And if you let them, they won't let you fail.
Exactly. They are very supportive. It's a warm, friendly, cool group of people. All of them are very professional, and it's a lot of fun. And we share a lot of tools like Lead Feeder. We're going to talk about that today. Tools like Canva, that helps you do some simple designs and other kinds of things like that that really speed things up so you can spend more time doing the things that take some time, like prospecting. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so a lot of what we have talked about in the past is how to get inbound leads. So I'm assuming that everybody has at least one source of inbound leads by the time they get to this podcast. It could be you just popped off a spaceship and you have no idea what I'm talking about, in which case it's probably helpful to listen to one of the podcasts about trade shows or about SEO or about one of the lead generation techniques that we use, right?
Sure beats the heck out of cold calls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you may only have there's a thing called JetNet, which is a software program in the aviation industry. There's also AirPack. There are several of these that can drill down to people that own aircraft, people that own a specific type of aircraft, people that own a specific type of aircraft in your area, people that have owned that specific type of aircraft in your area for X number of years. You can get as specific as you want to get. So there's lots of ways to get leads, and we're not going to talk about that today any more than what we just did.
Absolutely
right?
necessary.
Okay. So we're assuming that you have some leads and you don't know what to do with them. Mm-hmm. Okay. And to be honest, most people don't know what to do with them, or actually don't do anything with them, right?
No, and we've been forced into explaining this to people because we provide them leads. Mm-hmm. And then they say they haven't made any sales or haven't got any interest. And say, well, no. Then we go back and review the record and say, well, what about all these? Mm-hmm. Did you call them?
Mm-hmm. Did you even email them?
Did you even email them?
Right.
Well, no.
What am I going to say? Right?
And so forth.
Exactly. Okay, so a few of the ways that you might have leads, or maybe getting leads from, if you do a contest or any kind of thing like that in your facility or in a trade show booth, anything like that where people drop their business cards for a prize, any kind of sweepstakes, things like that. That's a lead generation activity that a lot of aviation companies use. Another one is the badge scanners or lead retrieval systems. People pay a lot of money for these. It kills me because they pay a lot of money for these. They get this fabulous spreadsheet of leads, and then they let it sit for 6 months, and then they say, oh, well, it's too old. I can't do anything with it now. Right?
They are quite perishable. You get leads, you need to follow up them as soon as possible.
Exactly. But the nice thing about the prospecting method that we're going to show you, it actually will do some good with any set of leads. It's just that your percentage is going to go down depending on how old they are and how unfocused they are. But no lead is worthless.
Nope.
Right. Okay.
Not till you prove it.
Exactly. This is Lead Feeder, which is one of the tools in our toolbox that we share in our marketing lab.
Well, this is one of the many views that Lead Feeder provides you.
Exactly. So this is just a screenshot from Lead Feeder, and it shows you, if you click in on someone that has visited your website, and you can see, what dates they visited and which pages they visited and for how long they spent on each of those pages. So that's some pretty good information, but it is missing a few pieces, so it's not perfect. But then again, we have never seen a perfect lead, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Another thing that you might do is have a tip sheet, a checklist, something like that on your website that people can download in exchange for their contact information. So that's another good source of leads. Okay, so you have a source of leads, unless you just came off an alien spaceship, in which case you need to be listening to something else. But assuming you have some source of some quality
number
of
leads,
right? Okay. What do most people do with these leads?
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing. This is predictive prospecting.
Predictable prospecting.
Predictable prospecting. Don't bang the microphone.
Yeah, exactly. By Marylou, Tyler, and Jeremy Donovan.
Exactly. So these are folks that surveyed a bunch of people and have a bunch of data in here in the first couple of chapters about what most companies do with the leads that they get. And what most people do with the leads that they get is nothing. And the people that they're surveying are people who have spent a ton of money on Salesforce, which is software that makes it super easy to do something with these things, right?
Yes.
So what that means is that most folks who don't have a CRM are probably doing even less or less likely to do anything with those leads. So the problem with this is that you're taking those leads that you spent so much money and so much time and, putting together those checklists and those trade show performances and, your sore feet from those trade shows. And all of that is amounting to nothing, because all of that is just going straight into the garbage, which just kills me. And, the reason that happens is because people don't know what to do, or they feel intimidated, or they're just not comfortable with prospecting. Okay. All right. So every campaign has 3 elements, right? The list, the offer, and the presentation. So your list in this case is obviously the stack of business cards that you pulled out of that box from the trade show, or the spreadsheet that comes from your website, from people that have downloaded a bunch of checklists and things like that.
Or the scan number of leads from a trade show.
Right. So you have a list.
Or all of the above.
Right.
Hopefully.
But a list is not a marketing campaign because it's missing 2 pieces, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What it's missing is an offer. So you have to think about, what can you offer the people on this list? And here we want to think about something that is fairly low cost, low risk, low commitment on both sides, because you don't know each other very well yet, right?
Nope.
So some kind of a custom report or a consultation, what is the right bait for this particular list of people? And if you have people that have signed up for a particular contest for a free website evaluation or something, then obviously you know what the bait is for this group.
Yeah, piece of cheese.
Well, a website evaluation. If they signed up for a piece of cheese, then a piece of cheese is what you need to give them. But you can tailor this depending on the nature of the leads that you have, right? Okay, so you need to have something that is attractive to them. Don't use the wrong bait.
Right.
Okay. And then the next thing is the presentation. So how do you present your offer? And I'm going to show you how you present your offer. But first I'm going to show you how you don't present your offer, right? You don't come on too strong. right? You don't even know these people very well.
So you don't ask to marry them on the first date.
Exactly. You don't ask them to marry you on the first date. You don't do anything that's too extreme or extravagant or intimidating or anything along those lines, right?
You don't have parents that are arranging a marriage for you 10 years henceforth. And even if you did, 10 years is too long to wait for a sale.
That's true. Or even if it's a referral, you still don't want to come on too strong because this is someone that doesn't know you very well. So, you want to be a little bit more reserved in your first steps with this person, especially if you may not have complete data on who this person is and what they may or may not want. So you don't want to spend a ton of money pursuing this person. You don't want to hire an airplane and have them tow a banner and get down on one knee. They'll run screaming if you do. So what we've put together is a 3-week, 8-touch campaign. It's actually not quite 3 weeks, but it is 8 touches. And it does look like an awful lot of work. And
guess what?
It is an awful lot of work. Done correctly, there's a lot of research and a lot of setup and other things that go into this, but some of these steps can be automated.
And this is the part of it that you don't have to feel uneasy about. You just work through it. If you feel uncomfortable about making phone calls, that's the end of this.
Right, exactly. So if you feel uncomfortable about making cold calls, this will take that away from you because you will have a lot of information before you make that first call.
Exactly.
But there are some calls involved and there are some emails involved. And it's a combination that works really, really well. We adapted it from this book and from 2 others that we've used in our practice and also from our experience in our practice. And we give you everything that you need in terms of email templates and even call scripts or outlines that you can adapt for yourself.
We probably haven't made all the mistakes, but we've made quite a few.
Exactly.
And we can talk to you about those.
Exactly. So the biggest objection to this process is that it is work. And there is just no way of getting around that. If you're not willing to do the work, then you really are in the wrong business.
Exactly.
Sales is hard. Aviation sales is hard. Aviation customers are smart. And all of that adds up to it's hard for you. It's hard for your competition as well. So
exactly.
If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Okay. And what you're after from this whole 3-week, 8-step process is one of 3 outcomes, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Right. And this takes the fear of rejection out of it because it is perfectly acceptable to get a yes.
Of course.
Right? And the yes in this prospecting program is just to get that consultation or that report or, some first interaction with these people. It's not to make the sale.
Right.
So, yes, let's sit down and talk about my website, or let's sit down and talk about my airplane. Let's sit down and talk about my 145 or my 145 repair station. Let's sit down and talk about my charter sales. Whatever it is that they're looking at that you can help them with, if you can get them to step 1, which is to have that first conversation, most people feel a whole lot more comfortable with the sales process once they get past the prospecting stage. You're going to say something?
Well, once you've talked to somebody and you made an appointment to talk to them again, it gets easier and easier.
Right. My feeling when I'm in sales mode is that there's like a brick wall, and that is the hardest thing, is getting that first brick out of that brick wall. Once you've got one brick out of that brick wall, then the structural integrity is compromised. And then it's a whole lot easier to get the rest of the brick wall down and to actually, be talking face to face with someone.
And the brick wall is a cold call. What we're doing is step by step removing the wall. Exactly.
So yes is a good answer. No is an equally good answer because hopefully you're getting enough leads that you couldn't handle the demand if you were selling all of them anyway.
Right.
So getting someone off your list and not spending any more resources on them, even if it's just the space in your head of, I really need to do something about that long list of leads, you get that space in your head back to do other things with, right? And then the third possible response is a not now. And we've talked about holding patterns and, how to wait until they're ready, when they have the budget or they have the approval or they have the whatever it is that you're waiting for. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So after I do this 3-week, 8-step process, what have I not done?
There you go.
I have not let my leads die on the vine, right? I have not let them die of neglect. I have not taken that spreadsheet that I spent thousands of dollars going to a trade show and paying for the lead capture system and getting the badges all scanned and getting people to come to my booth.
And whining and dining to go with it.
Standing on my feet for 4 days and whining and dining everyone. I haven't taken that list and just set it on my desk for 6 months and then said, eek, that's just too old, and thrown it away. Which is completely reprehensible. And I say that having done it. Because you get busy. I totally understand. You get back from a trade show and you think, okay, well, they're not back home yet. Let's give them a few days. And then other things come up and other things come up and other things come up.
What is this called?
This is called procrastination.
Yeah. There's the word.
And it's also just life, I mean, you're running a business, so you never run out of things to do. So, the last few days we've had a number of things happen. We've had the internet go out, we had a water heater die, we had, what else happened? Seems like there were a bunch of things.
It's just the week before this, it looks, got through that one. Now we'll be clear sailing. And it didn't.
Of course it will be clear sailing.
It didn't get better.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Or, and there's travel, there's projects, there's, clients that have seasonal things going on. There's all kinds of things happening all the time in your business as well as ours. So, yes, it is reprehensible to neglect your leads, but yes, we have done it. So, if you get this set up, it's really going to help you get past that first step, get some of this automated, and, make this easy to do. Okay, second thing, and this is actually even more important in the aviation industry, is what have I not done by doing this process, is I haven't burnt any bridges.
And that's exactly a very good thing not to do.
Exactly. I haven't left anybody with a bad taste in their mouth. I haven't been too aggressive. I haven't tried to sell somebody on the first date. I haven't done any of those embarrassing things that people worry about. So that's the process, right?
Yep.
And we're going to get into it next week, and we're going to dive into the email templates and the phone call templates and all of those things, and show you how to make it work.
Great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Okay.
She's got a strange idea.
Go sell more stuff.
America needs the business. Thank you, Zig Ziglar.
Exactly.
See you all next time.
Right.